Hey guys and girls, White Ninja out here, and today bringing you some more Stardew Valley. So today what I'm going to go through is some information on how to start up and how to progress with the farm to try and get as much money as possible early on, and just make things a little bit simple for yourselves. Now I am going to cover quite a few points today, so this video is going to be longer than normal. However, I might put some annotations on screen if people want to skip to certain locations. Now, the first thing that you're gonna see when you start the game is you're gonna get a package which will have 15 parsnips in it. Now, the first thing you want to do is hoe your area down, water the plants, and lay your parsnips. This is the first thing that you should be doing after clearing out the space inside your farm. Now, once this has happened, that's fine. That's what everyone will be doing anyway, so that's not a problem. The second thing you want to be you should be doing once you have done that is you need to start clearing out space in your farm to be able to make to get ready to start making more crops. And as you do that, you need to start foraging for items. Now, just like there's none on the beach, but basically in spring there are plants, horseradish, dandelions, and things like that that are really important, especially at the start of the game. One, this can be a good source of income, especially at starting, but secondly, it's also based around the community centre goals, and the community centre actually gives you some seeds that you can use early on. If I can actually find one, let's see. So as you progress, you do want to try and want to try and get all these consumables that you can pick up. Now, the community centre happens on the 5th of spring or thereabouts, or after. Yes, on the 5th, but you have to trigger the event. By doing this, you have to leave your farm on the right where the bus stop is, and then follow it through, and you have to be hit the centre between 8 AM and 1 PM. It shouldn't be a problem. Most people will do this anyway, just because they'll be looking around. You'll hit the cutscene to be able to come into the community centre, where you'll have a cutscene with the mayor, and by doing this, it'll trigger the event of being able to use the community centre. You'll have to follow the instructions to be able to develop further. You'll have to go see the wizard, etc., just to be able to process it. However, when you do go and collect your foraging items, make sure you do keep them, because you might be able to do the springs location, community, what's it called? Community center quest straight away, which will result in you getting some extra seeds early on, which is really important to be able to generate gold early. The second thing you want to be doing when you're clearing out the farm is you want to be getting or achieving 300 wood. And now this is just normal wood, and you can do this by chopping down trees. This is really important early, as I didn't realise this, but it is really important early because it'll open up this bridge on the beach. Now, not a lot at the start. It's the way that you can get the gold off this is fantastic. When you go across this, you can actually pick up all the shells that drop. So in this case, mussels, coral, sea urchin, blah blah blah. Anyway, all these actually generate quite a lot of gold, especially early on, which will be able to produce more seeds in doing so from the shops and things like that. As you're doing this, and you are generating gold by picking up all the items that you can after the 5th of spring, you will notice there are little worms that seem to poke around throughout the game. These are also important. If you actually hit these, you will be able to generate items. Sometimes you'll be able to get artifacts and things like that. In this case, I don't get any, but the artifacts are used for the museum. Once you give so many artifacts to the museum, you'll get items in return. By doing this, you can actually get some really good items, so it is actually wise to start this early and try and get them items as soon as possible. Once you have done that, you'll start looking into the things like the hot spring and the mines. Now, the mines open when the earthquake happens around the 5th of spring, I believe. Yep, that's right. The 5th of spring it'll be. So the 5th day of gameplay, you'll gain access to the mines. As you can see about foraging, these are the things that you want to be collecting and taking back with you. So once you have done that, you will be able to start mining. Now, this is a key to be able to succeed later on. So once you've watered your crops every single day, what you want to do is start going to the mines and mining straight away, and gaining access to gold. Sorry, not gold, bronze and silver. Make your way down as far as silver and collect as much as possible. Once you start generating some gold, you'll start getting enough seeds to be able to actually develop your farm into something a bit bigger, where you're just not having a few things. But what's going to happen is you're going to end up running out of energy before you can do anything else for your day with the crop process. Now this is where the hot spring comes in, which is the 3rd of summer. By going to the hot spring after you've watered all your plants in the farm, you will be able to replenish your energy to full, which means you'll be able to mine and continue the process, because otherwise you'll end up being out of energy by 10 AM, not having any food to be able to replenish, and then have to sleep and repeat the process. However, you go to hot spring, you can continue the process and develop further and further. Once you've done that, and you have yourself some iron bars and copper bars, if you don't know how to make them, you need to create a furnace and have some stone to be able to build it. Once you have some bars to be able to develop this, you'll be able to make something called sprinkler. Now the sprinkler, it will be this one that you can create, which is the simple first sprinkler, which does the 4 adjacent tiles every morning. So this will be the top, left, right and bottom tile that is done. Once you can afford to upgrade, do upgrade to quality sprinkler and then iridium sprinkler. But obviously to start with, this is the way to go. Now to be able to do this, this is the design that I've come up with. Sort of a ninja star. There's absolutely nothing to do with my name at all. But by doing this process here, you actually save yourselves time and space by doing this. Because when you water, you'll only have one space for watering, so you'll be able to go 1, 2, 3 and just do all the spaces without moving too much. If you do put the sprinklers like this, for example, which will be not that one, it'll be there because that'll be covered. There'll be 2 away, which will be this one and then this one. By doing this, it means you've got to walk across, so you'll have to go, okay, 1 there and then 1 there and then 1 there, and this takes time. Now at the start, time is pretty much against you to be able to actually achieve any of this. So this is the design that I've come up with, and by doing this design you are actually able to implement other designs on top of this to be able to further develop your farm. So the design I've come up with is this. This is where you'll start adding them all together. Now this design works by being able to expand and develop it further and further, just by adding sprinklers into the system as you progress through, basically. So I have actually made a model, so I actually remember where to put them all. But basically, if you put 1 sprinkler down, and then if you play chess, it's 2 across, 1 up, then 2 up, 1 across, then 2 across, 1 down. So basically 2 in one direction and 1 in the other. And you can actually build it, so you can actually make it so you can just keep adding and adding and adding on and on, etc., etc. So to be able to achieve this, I believe it will be there, and there'll be a sprinkler here. So that will cover that slot, which will then cover that one. So then it'll be 2 across, 1 up. Was that right? Let's have a look. Oh, 2 across, 1 down. Yeah, that is right. Yep, and then it'll be 2 across and 1 up. And then 2 across, 1 down. And then 2 across, 1 across. So when you actually design it this way, you have to do it back to front. Sorry, you have to do it so it's slightly different. And by doing that, you should be able to fill it in. And hopefully, I've done this right and not totally messed it up. So you should be able to do 4 in the middle, 1 on each side. Can I plant this in it? Yeah, I can. Okay, I'm just putting that for light. So 1 there, 1 there, and as you can see, the actual stars starting to form again. And then you'll do the same again on the next one, and the next one, and the next one, so on. So I'll just do 1 more here. So from this slot, it'll be 2 across and 1 down, which will land it around here. Yep. Then 2 across, 1 up, which will be there. And then it will be 2 across and 1 down, and then it'll be here. And then by doing this, you are actually able to make a huge garden without using too much space when doing so. Obviously when you start, you don't want to be spending all your time trying to clear out all your farm. Just enough wood to be able to get the bridge. So let's finish this out here so you can see what the full design looks like. There you are. So by doing this, you have a full design. Obviously, once you get to about, this is I think 17 sprinklers. Once you start getting to about this point, you should be at a point anyway of having gold to be able to develop the next sprinklers, which will be the quality ones. And with them, obviously, you'll change your pattern altogether to look a little bit like my original farm, which is the one just up here, where you'll just literally just build them straight across and develop them. I actually need to change this a little bit. Well, guys, that's pretty much it for the start of this for this sort of episode. Just a few tips on how to get started and develop. As you progress on this, obviously, once you start doing it, this will all water itself, so you'll never have to water, so it'll save you energy and time. All you'll have to do is plant seeds and recrop and pick them up, and this will forever stay watered until you decide to change the build path, I suppose, or well, whatever you want to do with it really. I've just seen another pattern as well, actually. If you just pick one and go two right, one down, two right, one down, all the way across, or two up, one right, two up, one right, all the way up, actually develops the path as well. Well, guys, it's a bit of a simpler video, just a few tips for anyone who's new and wants to get started quickly. Hope you enjoyed this video, guys, and I'll see you next time for some more Stardew Valley.